What we're going to do in this section is we're going to go ahead and talk about the different ways that we can control the user experience in Liferay. Now this is going to be the same introduction for both modules 3 and 4. So if you've come from one or the other, you can go ahead and skip this introduction if you'd like. For module 3, we're going to go ahead and focus specifically on how we can control the presentation of widgets on the page in Liferay. And in module 4, we're going to focus on how we can control web content, we can create fragments, and build layout templates as well. So to start, what we want to do is we want to introduce the fact that in order to control HTML in Liferay, we are making use of the FreeMarker templating language. Now the reason we're doing this in Liferay is because this gives us the ability to leverage Liferay's Java API, which gives us a lot of control within the HTML itself. If you've come from module 2, you may have already seen how we use FreeMarker in the themes. So in these modules 3 and 4, we're going to go ahead and talk about how we can use this in context of our templates on the platform. So FreeMarker has a number of different constructs that we can use. We can use things like variables, arithmetic, logical operators. We can include things. Of course, we can create comments. And most importantly, what we can do is we can create if statements, things like lists, or even run macros. This gives us a lot of power in our HTML. And as front-end developers, we have the ability to make sure that we can provide the best experience for those who are actually going to be working with widgets or content on the pages. So the way we do this, again, is by making use of these FreeMarker templates on the platform. So there are a number of different FreeMarker templates on the platform. So we'll just go right into this. We have widget templates, which, like I said, for module 3, we will focus on primarily. And these are going to be FreeMarker templates that allow us to control the presentation of widgets like the asset publisher, navigation, different things like that. We also have web content templates, which are specific templates for the web content asset, where we can reference information from our structure fields. We also have workflow notification templates. Now, we're not going to spend any time on that in these modules, but feel free to take a look at our documentation if you're interested. This just allows you to control the presentation of your workflow notifications, which could be email notifications or on-platform notifications. We also, of course, have our theme templates, and those are going to be the templates used to control the general HTML for our pages. And again, if you've come from module 2, you've seen how we've used these in the context of building a theme module. Now in these modules 3 and 4, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how we can build these templates primarily on the platform. But it is important to note, and I will note it again when we get to the exercises, in order to have the best upgrade experience for Liferay, it is important that you have a deployment process for your templates on the platform. So using different deployment tools, also potentially even bringing these in through a theme module itself. Now the reason for this is because it's important to note that if you are building templates and saving them on the platform itself, it's going to save that code to the database, and that makes it much more difficult to actually upgrade if there's any API changes. So it's important for you to know the more you can keep within a deployment process using tools like GitHub and NPM, the better it's going to be for you in the future. Now there are some other ways to control the user experience as well. Again, in module 4, we will primarily talk about these, but one of the newer ways that we can do it is through the use of page fragments. Now page fragments right now are broken up into 2 different types. There's sections and components, and they are built using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You can just use HTML, you can just use JavaScript, that's up to you, but you can use all of those together to build your fragments. Now in general, the reason that you would want to use fragments is because these allow you to build sections of the pages that can be edited by your content or marketing teams. Like I said, there's 2 different types. There's sections and components. Sections are going to primarily consist of things like columns and rows where you want to place the different components within your fragments. And of course, the components are going to be the different aspects of the fragment itself, perhaps even the editable aspects of the fragment, such as text or images or links. All right, and these fragments are organized in collections. Now, as we'll talk about in module 4, there are some tools we can use to build this outside of the platform, some NPM generators, but that's something that we'll get to in the context of module 4. One of the other ways that you can control the presentation of your pages is through what are called layout templates. Now, layout templates are going to be grid-like structures that allow us to control where widgets go on any given Liferay page. Now, specifically, this would be widget pages in this context. When it comes to content pages in Liferay, that's where your fragment sections will come in to control the layout of your different fragments. This is something that we will build in module 4 as well. So that gives us the general overview of what we're looking at. So we're looking at templates, we're looking at fragments, and we're looking at our layout templates. So for module 3, we'll dig into the widget templates. For module 4, we will specifically look at web content templates, fragments, and layouts. So let's go ahead and summarize this introduction. Now you can go ahead and pause here if you want to think about these different sentences. You can go ahead and fill in the blank on your own. You can go ahead and unpause, and we'll go ahead and walk through this together. So what we have here is FreeMarker templates are going to allow developers to customize and provide stylings for things like widgets, content, and notifications. Developers can take advantage of the theme resources importer, for example, to add web content and widget templates to a deployment process, and that's just one way in which they can do that. Web content templates can be used to control the presentation of web content. Widget templates are what we use to control the presentation of widgets, and then we also have page fragments, which are going to be reusable HTML, CSS, and JavaScript sections and or components that can be added to a content page, and layout templates, which are used to control the grid-like structure of a widget page so we can determine where the actual widgets place on a page. So if you're coming from module 3, we're going to go ahead and dive into the widget template aspect of this. If you're coming from module 4, then we'll go ahead and dive into those web content templates, fragments, and layouts. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can customize the widget presentation specifically. Now, like I mentioned in the introductory video, we have the ability to use widget templates to control the presentation of some of our different widgets that come out of the box in Liferay DXP. We have a number of widgets that can aggregate content, such as the asset publisher, or that display specific kinds of content, such as the web content widget, the blogs widget, etc. We also have things like navigation, and those can all be controlled with our widget templates. So in the past, what you may have needed to do if you're coming from an older version of Liferay was you may have needed to control the presentation of the navigation, for example, within a theme. And now it's a little bit easier, a little bit more modular. You can use these templates to do that on the actual pages themselves, because we can do things like embed the navigation widget into the page. So what kinds of widgets can we use these templates on? What you can see when you go to the widget template section is the list that you can go ahead and add. These include the asset publisher, blogs, the breadcrumbs, and then things like categories, navigation, language selector, media gallery, nav, etc., etc. You can go ahead and just see the list here. So these are all the things that we can add widget templates to out of the box. And of course, if you are a backend developer creating new modules for the platform, you can actually integrate widget templates into your own application or widget as well. So that's something to keep in mind, and something that we discuss more in the backend developer training. So what these templates can do for either custom or out-of-the-box widgets is they allow us to create multiple front ends for a particular widget. You may have different sites on the platform that require the same kind of widget but need to have a different look and feel. Because of FreeMarker, we have the ability to develop some advanced back-end functionality. We can use some of the tag libraries. We can use some of those FreeMarker variables to make more advanced templates for our widgets. And of course, we can also take advantage of those clay components and styles as well. Now, when it comes to creating widget templates, the best solution is going to be having a deployment process either through modules or something along those lines, so that you can host your own code and it's not saved to the database. But there is a template editor that you can take advantage of within the platform that gives you access to a number of variables or code snippets that make the development of these widget templates a little bit easier. So I would encourage you to take a look at that. We'll actually look at that a little bit in the exercises for this module as well. So for example, if we want to get the asset entries for an asset publisher template, one of the variables in there allows us to simply add in the if statement needed to check our content entries. We can basically go in and add the functionality we want within that code snippet. So just a few things to look at in the editor to make your life a little bit easier when developing these templates. Once we've created our widget templates, we can actually go in and we can select the widget templates from the configuration menu of those widgets. Whenever you see the display settings in one of the widgets that we discussed above, they will have some default templates that you can access out of the box. And then you will always see the new templates that we have added to that list as well, and you can go ahead and choose and change that from there. And we'll go ahead and take a look at these as well in the exercises for this section. So we've come to the summary section of this portion. So go ahead and pause the video. You can take a look at these bullet points and you can fill in the gaps on your own. And once you've done that, you can go ahead and follow along, and I'll cover the summary answers with you here. So to summarize, developers can customize the look and feel of widgets using widget templates, of course. Widget templates can be used for both default and custom widgets, so ones that are developed or ones that come out of the box. And widget templates are created using FreeMarker. And this gives our developers the ability to use some of those default editors and add some more of that advanced code functionality. So what we're going to do next is we're going to look at a couple of exercises where we can create some widget templates for the asset publisher as well as the navigation. So I'll see you in the next set of exercises.